Hello folks and welcome. So BigLinux, it's based off of a Manjaro. Their website is BigLinux.com.br. It's Brazilian distribution. This is the KDE Plasma 527.8 using a 6.1 series kernel. And today I'm going to be talking about some tips for new users, medium users. Now, would I recommend this Manjaro Arch-based distribution for a new user? Actually, yes. Because you'll find a lot of settings are meant for new users. It's very simple to use. But you can also grow. It's got several ways to install software. There's point and click, and of course you can use terminal. I will say welcome folks. I'm filming in 1920 by 1080. I'm filming in 1920 by 1080. You can adjust your YouTube player accordingly if necessary. Since a lot of them default to 460. They default to 460. That doesn't look very nice. It's happened to me many times. So click that if things don't look right to you and see if you're running in, well, the player, your YouTube player is running in 1080. All right, now that I've given you this information, you can see the hardware. I am going to use Alt and F4 to close that screen. They have lots of cute wallpapers. However, before I start talking about the control center and also the KDE control center, which is separate, Dolphin File Manager, and a couple of different ways to install software, I'll talk about Linux for Seniors. So, you're watching Linux for Seniors, at least I hope so. If you can see this round logo, and this is kind of subdued or stamped in here. If you can see that logo in the corner down here, then you're on my official channel and you can click to subscribe. What do you find on Linux for Seniors? Over 250 videos on all kinds of Linux subjects. If you don't see that round circle here, then you're watching this on someone else's YouTube channel or website. So one more time, if you see the logo, click it to subscribe. And for your returning subscriber, thank you and welcome back. So the first thing that you'll see is after you install this, and I use the extension 4 format, you're also offered BTRFS, is you have no widget selections here or your panel. The other thing you'll notice is on your standard applications, you can't right click and add to your desktop right away because they have a feature turned off. And that feature is desktop changes, prevents the desktop from accidentally being misconfigured. That is why I say this is also qualifies for a beginner system. All you got to do is turn that off. Once you do, then you'll have your widget options here, and also the enter mode to adjust the height of your panel. And you can add widgets. So that's a widget. So this is just a shutdown and lock screen widget. Now your default timer is normally set for 30 seconds. The big one, I just named it as in BigLinux, and I used the penguin. That's just the name of the user. You can certainly do the logout restart, but the default timer is set for 30 seconds. Whether you use a widget or not, this is still 22 seconds currently, which is not default. The default is 30 seconds. I have a separate video on Manjaro for power settings. If you are wanting to alter that time, you can watch that video and it'll tell you which file to actually alter. I'm not get into that in this video. All right, so one more time with the icon. If you see that round logo in the corner, you can click to subscribe. Now I'm going to continue. Let's talk about wallpapers. There's a whole slew of wallpapers. I have not even scratched the surface. You can see how many wallpapers they have. And these are stored in an interesting format. I'm going to click one of these. These are installed in AVIF formats, and you can see the size of these things. The dimensions is 2000 by 1154, but the file size is 233 kilobytes. If this was in a JPEG format, this would be a lot larger. I mean a lot larger. There's a 2560. Let me see if I can find a bigger frame size. Most of them look like they're in the same frame size. So in either case, you can see these are very sharp and detailed, but they're only 106 kilobytes. It's a very small file size. AVIF formats. Anyways, lots of cutesy wallpapers in here. Probably something for everyone. You got the little birdies, you got the little animals, little cutesy animals. These are adorable. And, you know, you got lots of different stuff. Okay, so if you're wanting these icons on your desktop larger, then click that. I'm going to do a discard. And then take the slider and go large, or whatever size you want. All right, let's get this out of the way. I'm going to recreate this widget. So again, for me to have this activated, I need to have this turned off. You need to unlock it. Okay, right click, Add Widgets, scroll down, and go find this guy and just drag it out and drop it. Then you can right click on it, enter mode, edit mode, and then you can resize that to your heart's content. Okay, and then move it to wherever you want it. Now I'm going to turn this off. So again, one more time with the timer, it's normally set for 30 seconds. Whether you use a widget or not, it doesn't matter. They're both linked as far as the time is concerned. So again, default 30 seconds. Just wanted to clarify that so you understand that it's not normally defaulted to 22 seconds. Let's take a peek at the control center. This one's a little bit different than regular Plasma desktops. That's why I say anybody can figure this one out. Okay, I'll make this a little bit larger for you. Pick your colors, light or dark. Desktop, what type? Lots of options. So you also got some mini stuff you can, well, slide on and off. And then you got your standard stuff that you can, well, go in and customize even. Application styles. Cursors. I'm using radioactive if you're curious. I call them mouse pointers, but everybody's got different names. I installed this one through Dolphin the File Manager. I picked it from here. Actually, I picked it from this area here where the KDE tools are. And you can also add your own cursors by get new ones. So this one and this one is installed in the same folder. This one I added manually. This one is installed by the system. This is your default mouse pointer or cursor. Looks like that one. Yeah, I believe it's that one. I don't think it's this one. But this one, that one, and this one are all installed in USR share icons. That's why the trash cans are grayed out. They're protected by root permissions. These have a trash can symbol. I can remove them. But I'll get to that in a little bit later when I talk about the file manager. All right, so that was customized. We have lots of options in here. All right, then we have phone, multimedia, accounts, privacy, devices, and all kinds of things in here. Now, I'm going to scroll up a little bit just to point to this. If you're used to a standard Plasma desktop, these are your standard settings. And then your appearance are in here. So breeze, dark, light, and all the other different ones. And again, also the cursors. And anytime you decide to change on a different cursor, by the way, whether you do it in here or in the other setting, once you hit apply, may I make the recommendation that you also log out of your system at a bare minimum, if not a restart. Okay. So that's some tips regarding that. And remove software. What does this thing open? Well, this opens up a Mac, because this is an Arch-based distribution. You can also do it here. That opens up the same dialog box. Okay. This is Control Center. You can also type in Control and open up Control Center here. You already have a shortcut of it. What am I doing here? This is KRunner. All you do is start typing. If I was looking for calculator, C-A-L. And then I'm going to hit my arrow key on my keyboard and select the second item and hit enter. I can go full screen my way. I'll talk about these features when I get into the file manager. Instead of using that, I'm using a different feature. Okay. I also have a different way of closing windows. You can, of course, click the X. I also have Alt and F4. If you're a dual booter like Windows 11, for instance, you can also use Alt and F4 to close Windows. If you are using a laptop, you may have to use function Alt F4 because a lot of the F keys are pre-assigned on laptops. So anyways, just Alt and F4 on a standard computer. Open up a web browser. Go to DistroWatch for a second. I'll make this larger on the fly. I don't use the popularity factor on DistroWatch. But anyways, BigLinux is out of Brazil. Plasma. Live medium. Get it on their website. Translate Portuguese to English. And we're going to talk about the download section. All right, so the minimum specs are right here. And the recommended is right here. This is the version that I'm using. It's 3.5 gigabytes to download. Now I'm going to close that. I'm going to reopen that. I'm going to pull that down. Grab a hold of that. And instead of using the X in the corner, I'm going to use Alt and F4. Just to demo that Alt and F4 thing. All right, so we can install software here. This again is per Mac. And we can do the search, we can do the point and click. You can see GIMP is installed. This normally is not installed. I installed it. So I can put that logo across there as a reminder to subscribe, in case you don't see that icon down there. You can go directly over to YouTube and look for Linux for Seniors. Or in a standard web browser, put an @Linux for Seniors, all one word, and you'll find my channel. All right, installing software through per Mac. If you just type in BIG, the big store, you can also install software here. So if you're into the Chromium web browser, maybe a couple of games, I don't know, a puzzle maybe, Minesweeper, that kind of thing. I think it's already installed, but this one's not the puzzles one. I guess the Minesweeper is. But big store. So, and of course you can use terminal. Okay, I am going to go and open up the file manager Dolphin. So let's talk about the windows themselves. You probably have seen me do some weird stuff in here. First of all, it's using like a wobbly window. I forgot what the name of this thing is. I think it was called wobbly windows. I haven't seen this for a long time though. But in either case, you can click and grab a hold of this. What kind of mouse am I using again? A standard USB based with a scroll wheel on it and a standard keyboard. Not using a laptop. I'm not using a touchpad. All right, so I can do it my way, resizing icons on the fly. So I'm basically, all I'm doing is I push down on my control key. Sometimes you may need to do this twice, and scrolling up and down on my computer mouse. You can also do it the old-fashioned way. Or you can hold down the control key and hit plus, 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 minus, 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 minus. I'm actually tired of saying that. Hold down the control key, scrolling up, and scrolling all the way back multiple times to get to the size I want. Couple of tips in your file manager regarding documents. This is Kate, the text editor. Holding down the control key, scrolling up to make that bigger, scrolling back to make it smaller. I probably can't even read that. I'm not altering the font. I'm just altering the view. All right. X in the corner or Alt and F4. Alt and F4 it is. All right. We'll take this dartboard here, for instance. I needed to see what this looks like. Hold down the control key, scroll in. All right, want to recenter that? I could maybe move that around a little bit, scroll up and down. Hold down the control key, scroll out, scroll in, scroll up, scroll back on my computer mouse. And then when I let go of the control key, you should be able to see that in the resized. In this case, 270%. Holding down the control key, I'm going to scroll in some more. And you get the idea. Double click, click and hold, push it up, click and hold, pull it back. So the window itself, again, all you got to do is remember that your tip of your pointer has to be below that bar to do what I'm doing here. Double clicking to resize the box, simulating that button right there. Right click, more actions, resize. If you left it in this size, then double clicking will also emulate the same as this button. So far so good? Okay, I'm going to do this manually, just to give you a different perspective on resizing a window. Okay, we can right click and set anything as wallpaper. And as I pointed out earlier, they have a ton of wallpaper in here. But let's say you wanted to do the wallpaper of the grandkids, the kids, the friends, or some different wallpaper that you like. Then of course you can just right click and set as wallpaper. When you point at images, it tells you information. Now, in this case, there is a digital information attached to this photo. You can see that says iPhone 12 on there, along with all the other particulars. Versus if I point at that image, it only says the size of the image is a 1024 by 720, denoted by the information on the bottom of the blue box. The one JPEG is what I'm pointing at. So if I wanted to double click on this thing, I can also resize the image this way. And you probably guessed it, I can also hold down the control key and scroll back and forth. And I can double click to go bigger. Scroll up and back and up and back. Holding down the control key, scrolling up, scrolling back. I'm going to click and pull this down to make it smaller. Click and hold to push it up to go full screen. It's the same as doing this. Okay. Again, I can use Alt and F4 or the close button. I'm going to use Alt and F4 on this one. Selecting images, selecting files, selecting folders are all done the same way. You click, you can also hold the control key and select individual ones, and then you can, do whatever you need to do with these things. Copy, cut, paste, whatever. You can also multi-select this way. And then if you hold down the control key, I have 3 of these selected. I'm going to select these 2 here, hold down the control key and scroll up. Now I have 5 objects selected. And then I'm going to hold down the control key and click the junk folder. Now I have junk 1, 2, JPEG, 9, 142, 5, and 12. And then I can do the copy, cut, or paste, or whatever. Get the idea? Okay. You can also draw boxes like this. And then I can also go in between. So I'm going to hold down the control key after I selected that. I'm going to click down and over. As long as I touch the window or the thumbnail, it will select it. I'm pulling it back to let you see that change. And I'm going to click out. So just a couple of different ways. Don't forget, your trash can is here, your home folder is here, your standard folders are here, your regular mouse pointers are installed in USR share icons. This one happens to be installed in a hidden folder. I first created this folder manually. Right click. And I created a new folder called .icons. If you want to call it period, that's fine. The dot denotes it's hidden. So the dot or period. So anything with a file that has a dot in front of it is also hidden. Let me do the Control H to let you see the difference. It's not magic. This is a very common command on all modern Linux file managers. Control H. What's in that .icons folder? The radioactive mouse cursor, and then the system I installed it through the system. What do I mean by that? Well, I went from here to here to here to here. I'll do another one for you. I will install this one and wait until it finishes. Again, it still has to, okay, it's done already. That's good. Now I have a new mouse cursor called Apple Cursors. And I have a new file in my file manager called Apple Cursors in my .icons folder. I don't have that anymore. It's not there anymore because I deleted it. So anyways, I just want to let you see that that's where they're stored. If you've seen any of my videos on mouse cursors, there's only 2 locations that are installed on any Linux distribution. Dot icons and USR share icons. The other mouse cursors, the ones by default, are literally installed in the USR share icons. There's a lot of subfolders in here, by the way. I'm not going to walk through the whole path. You can watch my other videos for that. Control H. And on my YouTube side, you'll also find a link to a nonprofit website that has I think over 800 of these kind of pointers or cursors. All right, so now that you know how to resize icons and multi-select, and again, the pictures part, again, you can set anything as wallpaper. You can do the copy and paste. The shortcuts for those are Control X and C for copy and paste. They're the same in Microsoft also. Very standard commands. Double click, click and hold, pull it down. Right click, more actions, resize. And it's always going to be the same, whether that box or you double click. It emulates wherever you left that. So if you left it in this position, this box does the same, and so does the double clicking over here. Click and hold, pull it down. Okay. Alt and F4 to close the box. So I talked about if you are missing the Add Widgets thing, if you added a program or application and you're missing how to add to desktop, that means the setting has been flipped off. It's locked, in other words. So now you have no widgets, and more importantly, you can't right click to add to the desktop. So if that's the case and you want that option, then turn this off. Now you have that option of adding to your desktop. Okay. Don't forget the wallpaper, and if you want these icons larger, that's done in here. Okay, lots of little tips for you. Hopefully you found those useful. And don't forget, if you wanted to add separate icon instead of doing this, you can certainly add a widget on your desktop to do the same. And don't forget, that's normally set for 30 seconds. And if you are wanting to alter that, then again, I have a separate video for you to watch on Linux for Seniors. It's under Manjaro Power Options, I believe it's what it's called. Thank you for watching.